message, man. It's kind of like Martin Luther King Jr.-ish, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Matthew, you were talking yesterday about the influence your father's had on your career. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the really special things you did when you were growing up, not just football-wise, but just in general?
Yeah, my dad was so involved in my brother and I's life. He was there for everything, whether it was him coaching our basketball team, him coaching our youth baseball teams, soccer teams. When he knew nothing about soccer, he just made the effort to always be present. And I think that's what, above all things, that's what I appreciate the most, is that he was a father first. So many of the young kids that look like me, especially black kids, they don't have fathers that are present, but we had a father that was always there, and I really appreciate that.
Was there a point when you were younger that he directed you toward football, or you played all these other sports?
He didn't want me to play football.
No?
I think there were two reasons for that. He didn't want us to feel pressure to live up to his name and all the things that he accomplished in his career. He knew that there would be expectations that came along with that were potentially unfair. And I also think he wanted us to avoid injury. He knew the toll that this game takes on you physically, and I don't think he wanted us to go through that. But against his wishes, here I am. So it's been a fun journey.
He made it to one Super Bowl.
He did.
And unfortunately, he didn't win. This is a habit. What does he say about that team?
I think a part of him is a little bit jealous. But a part of him is just so excited. I feel like we're in this together. I know I wouldn't be here without my father and his guiding influence on my life. So for us to have this experience as a family, for him to be a part of it, it really means the world, not only to him, but to me as well.
What was your reaction to the family when you made the Hall of Fame?
Oh, man. Just sheer joy. Really thankful. Think about my dad's journey from Jackson, Mississippi to LA to St. Louis and all the things that happened over the course of his career. No one knew better than us how hard he worked, how much he sacrificed, especially my mom. She was there before it all started. So for that to come to a climax with him reaching the Hall of Fame was something that made our family so proud. But we were so happy for him because we really felt like he earned it. He quietly went about his business for 20 years and tried to master his craft, and he ultimately did that, and we were so proud of him.
Can you imagine playing 20 years?
Absolutely not. That's a long time to do anything. But he has such a love for the game. He jokes all the time, I would have liked to keep playing if I didn't get hurt there at the end. But that's a long time to be playing football.
Matt, how much did you ever feel like when you look across on Sunday, are you going to feel any sort of like deja vu on that jersey that you see? Because they're going to wear the old time.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll feel some kind of way when I see the jersey. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm here with my teammates, and I'm representing what I believe is the finest organization in this league. And we're going to be trying to do everything we can to beat that team. So nostalgia will have to step aside as we look to try to win the game.
I think it was after the Seahawks Super Bowl, and your dad are on the field. There's a hug, there's a pullback, a laugh, and a hug again. What was that? And I'm sure everyone saw you remember that feeling of, man, we did this together.
Yeah, it was after the Atlanta game.
The Atlanta game, okay.
And my dad was sitting up in his seats, and all game long, people were giving him a hard time. I think he may have been with Bruce Matthews, and his son was on the other team. They were giving him a hard time, and I think that some of that laughter was in relief for what had just transpired. But I think anytime that I'm able to have success on the football field, my team's able to have success, my dad feels like he's a big part of it. Certainly that day was an emotional one for all of us, but every time I think about, what I'm doing now, it always goes back to my dad, because my love of the game came from him. I wouldn't be playing this game if it wasn't for him.
Is there a difference between a professional father and a professional son relationship when you see the father with the footsteps?
Yeah, it's pretty unique. I think anytime a son is able to do what his dad did, it's pretty unique. Obviously, our situation is very unique. It's something that we haven't taken for granted. We feel like we're the luckiest family alive. We've been very blessed, so we're enjoying the ride together.
Matthew, what are the things that, when you look at the Rams, that is very impressive to you?
I think just the talent they have in every position, whether it's offensively, defensively, or in the kicking game. They have talented players everywhere, and they pose a lot of problems. So when you look at them for the first time on film, it can be a little bit overwhelming, because you're like, well, how are we going to stop this guy? Well, how are we going to account for that guy? But I think we just have to stay within our system and what we do, play this game on our terms, and see how it goes for us.
How is the locker room right now itself compared, to the previous season?
I think this locker room is really close. We've been through a lot of adversity this year. We've been counted out more than once. But I think we've really grown together through our experience this season. We really cherish the time that we've had together. We're happy to be here, but we feel like we've earned our way here, and we want to prove that we belong.
Man, how much did Jack Easterby help his team when he first came here in 2013?
It's really hard to put that into words. I think what he's really done here is shift our culture. We were in a tough spot when he got here. We were going through a lot of things off the football field, and he really brought a sense of comfort and stability to our locker room. He brought our brotherhood closer together through his faith and the principles that he believes in. And I honestly don't think we're here where we are sitting here today without his influence on our team.
How much has he helped you?
He's been, I'll forever be grateful to him. He's helped me develop as a man. He's walked me through the process of getting engaged in premarital counseling and then getting married and becoming a father. He's challenged me in my faith in following Christ. He's really been a huge part of the story of my life, and I'm so thankful for him.
Thanks, man.
Tell me what Cordero was brought to this team under his shoulders this year.
Unparalleled athletic ability, excitement. When he touches the ball, he's such a dynamic player. Whether it's in the kicking game or offensively, he poses so many problems for the teams that we're going against. To think that this guy is our wide receiver, was our leading ball carrier for a couple of games. It really speaks to his unique talents and skill sets as a football player. And not only that, he's been a great addition to our locker room. Always has a smile on his face. I've never heard him complain a day since he's gotten here. He just works hard and is thankful for his opportunity, and he's made us a better football team.
How do you go about treating this like a regular game? It's the biggest game of your career, obviously, but how do you make sure it's just like any other regular game?
I think just trying to stick to your routine. You have a routine that you try to execute all season long, and now is not the time to change that routine. I think you need to stay within yourself, trust your process, try not to change too many things, and at the end of the day, understand it's just another football game. We know what's at stake, obviously, but football doesn't change. It's still football, and you have to go play a football game on Sunday.
Do you have any game rituals?
Personally, I don't. No.
Matthew, what's your routine?
He's the best offensive line coach in the league. And I say that because you look at his body of work and the players that he's been able to develop, the consistency with which our group has played when he's been here, it's been really unparalleled. And he's a very demanding coach. Now, Dante, he coaches very hard. He expects a lot of his players. I think oftentimes I've heard guys say, he's seen the best in me, even when I didn't see it there, he's found a way to get it out of me. And you've seen what he's done since he came out of retirement, how well we played, how consistent we've been. I mean, he's a huge part of what we do here. I think that says it all right there. When you got a coach as accomplished as Bill is, asking another coach to come out of retirement, I think that says it all.
Matthew guys, the special teams guys, kind of personify the underdog mentality. They find themselves there, and then they can, make an impact on the game.
Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, a lot of us feel like every day we have to prove that we belong in this league. That's kind of been the story of our careers. Many of us have been overlooked. Many of us have been doubted for the entirety of our careers. So we've always embraced that. We always play with a chip on our shoulders. We always feel like, hey, we want to go out there and prove we belong. And it's no different this week. We're excited to be here. We're hoping to leave our mark on the game. It'll be a big challenge for us going against the Rams, so we'll see how it goes.
Matt, how have you seen Cordero Patterson grow as a person this year?
Wow, I think, to me, I think there was some preconceived notions about who CP was before he got in here, and it hasn't been any of that from my perspective. He's come in, he's been very professional, he's been very mature, he's really been locked into learning everything that we've asked him to do over the course of the year, and he's held himself accountable every step of the way. So he's been the perfect teammate in my mind. I've been a fan of his for a long time, but to actually get to know the man and see how he loves his family, cares for his family, and always tries to do the right thing, it's been great.
When you see him he's an emotional guy, but you see him sort of harnessing those emotions this year to be a better player?
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's been like in the past because I haven't played with him, but I don't think that's been an issue at all at any point in time.
Man, Dante said yesterday, when he was describing the Patriots culture, that it's not necessarily the easiest place to play. In terms of just the locker room culture, having been here as long as you have, why does it work the way you guys have this locker room culture, especially if it isn't the easiest place to play?
Yeah, it's certainly not the easiest place to play. I think it works for us because of the buy-in. Guys are willing to check their egos at the door and say, hey, I'm in this for the greater good. And the guys that aren't willing to do that usually don't last long here. Without chemistry and culture and connection in the locker room, this thing really doesn't go. Certainly Bill has a number of philosophies that he tries to run this team based off of. And I think they're great, but if you don't have the right men in place, I don't think it works. So it's kind of a perfect match. Bill has the formula. He gets the right guys to come in and do it the way he wants it done. And we've been fortunate to have the success that we've had.
Any of those philosophies you most important in terms of making that system work?
I mean, I always believe in hard work. I always believe in putting the team first. I always believe in managing your expectations. So I'd say most of those philosophies I agree with on and off the football.
What is it about your legacy? What do you think your legacy is being a great special team player over your career?
That's a question I really haven't spent much time thinking about. Legacy. When I think about legacy, the legacy I'd like to leave behind, it's not really on the football field. I think the most important thing for me is that people remember a man who was a follower of Christ, who tried to love people, do the right things off the field, have an impact in the community, lead his family the right way. If people remember me for that, they don't remember me for anything on the football field, I'm okay with it.
Matthew, several times in recent years, your team's gone to overtime in a big game, and you've gone out to call the coin toss. What's your routine? Do you always call the same thing? When you go out there, what are you looking for?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I go out there, I always call heads, because my father called heads when he played, so it's kind of like our family thing now, but there's not a whole lot that goes into that. You go out there, and hopefully the coin flips your way.
It's worked for you and the Patriots calling heads and winning on the first possession. Do you think the overtime rule should be tweaked at all, or do you like it?
That's interesting. I know there's been a lot of talk about potentially revising those rules. I don't feel strongly one way or the other about it.
And Matt, you've been on this team a long time. Can you explain how this season was different and potentially tougher than others?
Well, I think this year was a year that we're not supposed to be here. In years past, we were kind of like the favorite. Everybody kind of loved what we were doing and how we were playing and how things were going. This year, it's kind of been up and down for us. Things haven't gone our way all the time. We haven't been very consistent with our play at certain points in the season. But I think through all that, we've persevered and maintained faith in one another in our process. And it makes it even sweeter that we're able to reach this point in the season. So it's been a different year. Every year is different, but I think this is a year that can be summarized by our faith, our character, and overcoming adversity.
Was there ever any doubt in the locker room as to if you could get here?
No.
Why weren't you supposed to be here?
Well, I mean, we didn't play consistent at times, and many of you guys who cover us said we stink, so I guess we weren't supposed to be here.
Matthew, there are a number of guys on the team that are closer to the end of their careers, maybe the beginning. You might be one of them. I'll get to that. But Devin McCourty last night said that he was not ruled out the possibility of retirement. Is there a feeling on the team that you guys are trying to send some guys out on the right note? And do you know about Devin's thoughts?
No, I haven't spoken with Devin, and I would say we just try to live in the moment. Nothing's guaranteed in this league for any of us. As you said, especially as we get older, I think all of us just kind of take it year to year, see how things are going to play themselves out, see what's best for our families, see what direction the organization is going to go in. But we're not thinking about that right now. We're not thinking about sending guys out on the right note. We're thinking about just trying to take advantage of the opportunity we have.
What about you?
I've always taken it 1 year at a time. I'm a career special teams player, so I've always been a year-to-year guy.
I guess thank your dad taught you growing up. He was with the Rams and being around football.
Ooh, there were many lessons that I learned from my father. I think the lessons that I really value the most were the ones I learned off the field, about manhood, about faith, about being a man that's going to lead your family in the right way. So many lessons I learned from my dad. Now on the field, when it came to football, I learned the value of hard work and sacrifice. You're not going to get anything that's given to you in this league. You're going to have to earn everything. And that's how life is as well. You're going to have to work hard for everything that you hope to achieve in life. And my dad did more than just talk about it. He modeled that for us. Thankful for that. A lot of friendly banter. I think he feels like he can't lose. Whoever wins this game, he's going to feel good about it. But certainly he's supporting his son, and I appreciate that. But I think this is the ultimate scenario for him. So he's having fun with it.
Matthew, I've talked to
when you first were drafted, what do you remember about Steve Belichick? At the time, he would have probably been around in the college age. What was your impression of him back in those days?
He was just a young kid when I got here, and I think there was a lot of talk as to whether or not he would get into coaching one day. And then fast forward 11 years later, and here he is doing a great job coaching our safeties. It's been pretty neat to watch that progression and see him grow as a man and have a family and now coaching. But it was almost inevitable, you think, when you look back on it. I think coaching's in his blood.
I imagine he's probably the same guy, but what was he like back then that maybe now, you were to joke about it, he'd be like, wow,
he hasn't changed much. The thing I appreciate about Steve is just his laid-back approach. Very, very easy to talk to. Really does a great job relating to the guys, and he's kind of always been that way. You can go to him and talk to him about football or anything else. So I wouldn't say he's changed a ton, but I think that's a good thing.
Matthew, talking to a couple of guys, a couple of the other wide receivers, about the range of emotions you guys went through this year involving Josh. And when he came in, he was such a dependable part of the team, and then leaving the way he did, it has to have been, and one of the guys used the phrase, a little bittersweet. Being here without a guy who is such an important part of your team.
Look, he helped us win a lot of games this year, and he did a lot of great things. I think the toughest thing for our group, we want to see him be healthy. We want to see him do well off the football field as a man. That's kind of what we're more concerned with over anything. So ultimately, he's still a part of what we do. We think of him often. We pray for him all the time. And we want to see him be successful in life.
One more quick question. I wanted to get your take on what your high school coach meant to you in your development as an individual.
Man.
Talked to a bunch of guys about this, but I wanted to get your take on it.
My high school coach, Larry Toner at Silverlight High School, he taught me that life was really bigger than football. He always used to say to our team and say to me and my family that he was building leaders of men. That was like his slogan. And he did that. I think he showed us the importance of accountability, the importance of leadership, the importance of trying to do the right things all the time. And he was hard. He was a tough coach to play for as I look back on it, but I'm so appreciative of the discipline that he instilled in myself and my teammates, the level of greatness that he expected out of us as men. I'll always be in debt to Larry.
Matthew, which has been your mindset so you can stay in the top of the league to all these years?
Just never being complacent. I feel like no matter what you accomplish as an individual or as a team, as a competitor, you can never become satisfied. Because when you become satisfied, you stop working. And when you stop working, the results are going to change. So I think no matter what happens in this league, from day to day, from week to week, you always have to push yourself to strive to be a little bit better. And that's what I've tried to do the entirety of my career.
Today, the first day of kind of normal this week of getting back to almost good times, like today's the day of rest, study, meetings. Does it feel like a normal week starting?
Certainly. Having that Tuesday off day where you kind of get a lot of things done physically, you get a lot of things done as far as mental prep goes. It's good to have it. We feel like we're settled in now. Kind of comfortable with our setup here. So I think it's a good day for us to take advantage of some things, get a jump start on the week.
You've been around a while, but just the fan support after all these years. It's still like last night.
It's unbelievable. We have a tremendous fan base, and it's one that we don't take for granted. We realize that not every team has that. We want to go out and try to represent them as best we can.
Matt, how important to this team was Josh Gordon on the field?
I mean, he was very important to what we do. You're talking about a guy with those physical gifts that's able to kind of take over a game on his own. There aren't a lot of those guys walking around planet Earth, so he was a big part of what we did. He helped us. We wouldn't be here without his contributions, so we're certainly mindful of that. But at the same time, we're wishing him the best. We want to see him be healthy. We want to see him in a great spot. And ultimately, that's bigger than the game of football.
And he's a part of this, I would think. It's a part of it that you're here.
Oh, certainly. As I said, I think it'd be foolish for any of us to think that we would be here without his contribution this season.
Is it a little heartbreaking that he's not here?
It's a little bittersweet. I mean, we think of him often. We certainly wish he could share this experience with us, but we know that he's doing what he needs to do to try to get us over.
Matt, over the years, have you observed anything that makes the Brady-Belichick duo so special?
That relationship is such a unique one to the best football minds probably ever. I think the lifeline, the lifeblood of that relationship is based off their love for the game. I've never in my life met two people that love the game more than those two guys. And I think ultimately that's the driving force behind their relationship.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey Matthew, you're live with viewers from Denmark. Can you just say hi?
Hello, viewers in Denmark.
So one of your fans, Simon here, he asked, what's Brady like outside the field?
He's awesome. He's a great guy, very fun to be around. Loves his family. He's a California guy, so you gotta love those California guys. But really a joy to be around. Really a humble guy and a great friend to so many people.
another viewer asked, do you intend to stay with the Patriots next season?
That's my plan, but for now, I'm worried about what's going to happen this Sunday and trying to finish this season out the right way.
Good luck.
All right.
How do you think he could transition, if at all, to like a type role? So basically some kind of commentator, talking head, analyst.
That's a good question. I mean, he'd be more knowledgeable than any commentator out there, I'll tell you that. The only problem is no telling when he's going to retire. I mean, he could do this maybe till he's 80 years old, so we'll see. But it's been fun to watch those guys like Tony and others that have kind of transitioned into that role. I think they do a great job. I think Coach would surprise a lot of people with his personality and his humor. But I guess we'll all have to wait and see.
How would you describe that humor?
Very dry. But it's there. He's funnier than you think.
Matthew, what is it like playing under Brian Flores? What has he been able to impart on you?
I think when I think about Brian, the first thing that comes to mind is tremendous leadership. He's a man of integrity and character, and he really leads men in the best way, I think. He's humble, he serves. I think about the relationship that I've had with him and the way that he's held me accountable, encouraged me, and pushed me to be a better me on and off the football field over the years. And I'm so thankful for the time that I spent with him. No question.
Matthew, this year the Super Bowl will play on the New Year's Eve of China, and do you want to share your personal story about the holiday and football?
When I think about holiday and football, I always think about Thanksgiving, Turkey Day, and playing football around Thanksgiving time. You know, we have a saying around here that football season doesn't start until after Thanksgiving. So, you know, I think the holidays and football are kind of one and the same, especially now in America with the way we tie in so many of our sports with football, or so many of our holidays with football. So, a lot of good memories.
Yeah, do you have any message to our Chinese fans?
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Thank you guys for your support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, Chinese fans in China, I'm Matthew Slater. Wishing you guys happy Chinese New Year, and stay tuned on 10 Cent to watch Super Bowl only 5 days ahead.
Okay, and will you pick the heads again, you know, if the game goes to the overtime?
You know it, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
What about Matthew versus Matthew, and what inspired you to start be involved in Hurricane Relief?
Absolutely.
Help you.
Thank you. You know, it actually started with my wife. So when Hurricane Matthew hit the Carolinas. Her family lives down in the Charlotte area and has some other family in the Carolinas. And she really felt like, you know, I want to do something here. This hurricane is causing so much destruction and affecting so many people's lives. And it's named after you. I feel like we need to step up and do something. And we've always had a heart to try to use our platform to help people in need, to connect with people, to try to leave places better after we've been there. It was her vision. She kind of planned most of it and brought me alongside. But it was really a great event that we were able to do. It really showed you how much, when you stop and think about it, people helping people is a beautiful thing. We don't talk about it a lot, but it happens so much. And that was a time where people came out and supported what we were trying to do. They didn't know any of these people that had been affected by the hurricane, but they came out and supported it.
Did you realize fellow teammates?
I did. Yeah, they came out. I only had to ask them once. You know, absolutely.
So many of these games on that stage. What have you learned from the experiences in the past? What helps you now?
I think you gotta stay in the moment here. When you come to the Super Bowl, I think it's good to appreciate what you've accomplished, what your team's accomplished, and be thankful for the opportunity that you have here. When it comes to the game, you gotta remember that it's a long game. A lot's gonna happen over the course of the game, and you just have to try to stay the course. You have to control your emotions as best you can. and just play things out situation by situation. So hopefully we've learned that, and that served us well.
Talk about that in the game situation. The halftime is longer. You have to go off the field earlier, right?
Certainly.
What changes?
It's just a long day. Everything's drawn out. So I think you have to do what you need to do to make sure you stay ready physically, mentally, staying in tune with everything. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, certainly come game day. And I think we do a good job. Our staff does a good job of preparing us for that and trying to get us ready to go.
And one is, since we're in Atlanta, it's a city of hip-hop. You said Belichick is a funny guy, a dry humor, but what kind of rapper? What would be his rap name?
I don't know what MC Belichick. I don't know what his rap name would be.
Okay, thank you.
I guess it's so reliable for you guys, but obviously you're playing the championship game. We're thinking about it. Never going to watch it now. We're seeing how he does it.
He doesn't flinch in those moments. He knows how to, hit the reset button and move on. And there's one thing that I've seen him develop over the course of his career is just great mental toughness. Maybe as a younger player, he would have dwelled on that mistake and let it get to him, but he just hit the reset button and went on to the next play. And I think that's what great players are able to do. In football, no one's going to play a perfect game. There are going to be plenty of mistakes, but you have to learn how to move on. And, we've seen that displayed time after time from him. He doesn't have very many mistakes, but when he does make them, he moves on quickly.
I'm surprised you have been a potential game changer. Just like to slip out.
I didn't even think about it. You're so concerned with what you have going on and trying to do your job. You don't really think about what another guy has going on. You go over there, give him a pick me up. Hey, let's go. Let's keep competing, and you move on from there.
Talk about this competitiveness. I'm second with the time. We watched it over the last few years. What's the memory you have of really being on the top?
Well, we used to live together for 4 years in video games at the house. We throw the controller, walk out of the room, storming out, pouting like my 3-year-old son. So he loves to compete. It doesn't matter what it is. He wants to win, and he wants everybody to know that he won. So I think that's fun. Our team kind of feeds off of that, and it motivates us in a lot of ways.
Does being back in Atlanta bring back any memories of Super Bowl 51? And how often do you think about just how crazy that comeback was?
Yeah, it's still one of those things that's pretty hard to believe. That was an experience of a lifetime, no question. But I haven't really thought about it this week, honestly. Got enough to worry about when it comes to the Rams and trying to get ready to compete this Sunday.
Is your job tossing the coin? Like, this is a serious question. Is it like up for competition? If you start slipping a little bit, someone else.
The guys always give me a hard time. And I didn't win very many this year, but I guess we won the one we needed. So.
Matthew, Wayne Gandy, your dad was Wayne Gandy, my husband's mentor.
How you doing? Good to see you.
So I wanted to get some footage for Wayne, but I wanted to also ask you, he gave Wayne so much information. He played 15 years, His mom used to joke with him and say, you took his job. Really, he gave Wayne so much information. What is the best advice Jack has given you?
Well, that's a great question. Well, I think ultimately the best advice he's given me has nothing to do with football. The best advice he ever gave me was to investigate who the person of Jesus Christ was and find out what he wanted to do in my life. And then from there, I think he taught me how to be a man, how to lead my family, how to try to be a man of character and integrity and have an impact on the people's lives that you touch each and every day. And that's what I appreciate so much about my dad. Football was something certainly that we loved. And I remember when Wayne came in and my mom was like, Jackie, I think it's time for you to retire. But he was trying to hold on as long as he could. But man, a lot of great memories from football. And certainly a big part of that. He'll be here Thursday.
Okay, tell him to stay for us.
Absolutely.
Matthew, what kind of, you've been teammates with Dev for a long time, what kind of impact does he make on the team, not just on the defense, but on the team as a whole?
one of the best leaders I've ever been around in my life. And I think when you see a man who's so consistent in his character, how he goes about his business, how he always puts our team first, how he's always serving people, you can't help but want to follow a guy like that. Obviously, his play on the field has been elite for a number of years, but I think his leadership in the locker room, his wisdom, emotionally, the way he leads us, the way he's willing to stand up in the face of adversity. A lot of times we're in the midst of it. This team's not here without Devin McCourty.
When you see, Gronk uncertain about his future, Dev uncertain about his future, does it make you kind of sit back and be like, this isn't going to last forever? Do you take a special appreciation, especially where you are right now, and that it's a finite time?
Absolutely. I think from the moment you come in this league, you realize this is temporary, so you try to make the most of every opportunity you have. I know better than anyone, you can't play forever, because my dad certainly tried to. And the reality is this thing comes to a close for us all. So we just try to live in the moment, appreciate the opportunities that we have. We're not going to look any further than today. We're going to try to make the most of today.
You talk about Devin. What's different about him with his brother?
Their dynamic is so special. I mean, I think I've seen a whole new side of them this year. Not that he hasn't appreciated the years that he's had in the past and appreciated the experiences, but there's just a unique sense of joy that he has about himself to be able to share this with his brother. He's so happy that Jason is able to get a taste of winning and success after 9 years of just kind of grinding away. But their relationship is special, man. It's like they're like the same guy. It's really special to watch them interact and be together.
Have you been fooled thinking that? I mean, you've been knowing Devin, like I said, for his whole career. Have you even been at a point where you mistook one for the other? Or?
There have been a couple times in the huddle where I'll look up and see 3 and not see whether it's O or 2 and call them the wrong name. And they'll give me a hard time about that. But I know them apart now. I like Jason better anyway, too. So.
Hey, Matthew, your father told me a story a couple weeks ago. He said that when you were in elementary school that he actually had to go to the school because you were a little rough with.
He loves telling that story.
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was just a kid running around on the playground. I liked tackling, I liked physicality. I just needed a little bit of guidance as to who I could tackle and when I could tackle him, and he helped me figure that out.
I know you've been asked a million times about your dad, but just, if you don't mind telling me, just the emotion that goes into playing the Rams in the Super Bowl for you, and just what connection that has for you.
It's a unique situation for our family. I think this is a dream scenario for my father. Like he feels like he can't lose either way the game turns out. You think about the Rams organization, and when I think about the Rams organization, I immediately become thankful. I have a lot of gratitude for them. They gave my dad an opportunity as a kid coming out of Jackson State, Jackson, Mississippi, to live out a dream and provide for his family. And I was afforded a lot of opportunities thanks to them. I was raised in a great area, a much different situation than my parents. I was able to receive great, schooling over the years, and that's thanks to them. So I'm always going to be grateful to that organization, but I'm always going to be more grateful to the Patriots for them allowing me personally to live out my dreams and me personally to provide for my family now. So this is a unique situation for us. Ambassador Slater is going to be living it up, I'm sure, this weekend, enjoying his time here. And we're just so thankful for this experience for our family.
Matt, you've seen Gronk from the entirety of his career.
Preparing for a big snowstorm. Schools were closed yesterday. They were worried about all the crowds that are coming here with the weather because the weather was supposed to be so bad today. Kind of ironic with you guys coming from New England and you're kind of like I'm in a t-shirt.
You gotta understand the South. I mean, we don't get this kind of weather. I say we, my parents are from Mississippi, so we don't really get a lot of this cold here. It's a little bit different. So if they're gonna handle it, they'll be ready to go. They'll handle it.